Prince Harry had a victory of sorts this month, winning more than £100,000 worth of damages from Mirror Group newspapers, who, a judge has ruled, did make him a victim of unlawful information gathering. India and Grant, will Prince Harry see this as a bit of a victory?
He will. I think, as you know, Cameron said all the way along, that it's not great, all these legal battles and court cases that keep coming up. And I think historically the Queen was only ever involved in 2 legal cases in her whole reign or her lifetime. And it seems to be a kind of regular occurrence at the moment with Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex, and it's not ideal. And I'm sure there's going to be other cases possibly, and they might not always win, but it isn't. I still find it really unfortunate. I don't see anyone being a winner in these kind of situations because I think it's embarrassing for them and for the royal family.
And Prince Harry had some pretty strong words, India, outside of court via his lawyer, David Sherborne, calling on the Metropolitan Police to investigate potential criminal charges. Yes,
and on the stock market to reflect what we have seen and sort of tank certain stocks, so to speak. But I think for him, he did view it as a victory. You know, he said, I feel vindicated, I feel happy with this result. He actually, said that he, to slay dragons, he knew he was going to get a bit burned, but this was well worth it. So I think, from his point of view, to have found that 15 out of 33 articles were the product of unlawful information gathering by Mirror Group newspapers was a big deal. OK, India, Grant, thank you very much for now.
Thank you.
Joining me now is the Daily Express Royal Roundup host, Pandora Forsyth, to talk the rest of the Harry and Meghan drama of 2023. Pandora, welcome.
Thank you.
Spare, his memoir.
Yeah.
A lot of juicy detail in there.
A lot of juicy detail. A massive success for him, the fastest non-fiction book of all time in the UK. Brilliant. But of course, dealing with the consequences off the back of that, quite a year for him in terms of family relations.
Yeah, absolutely, because of course he accuses his own brother in the memoir of physically attacking him, something that Kensington Palace is not talking about.
No, and that does seem to be a theme throughout all the royal revelations this year. They're keeping very quiet on every single front and not feeding into the drama that Harry and Meghan are bringing to the royal family. And I thought this year perhaps it would have been more of a quiet one, but apparently not. This is what's to come in 2024. We don't quite know yet. But what more stories are there really to tell?
So something which didn't go particularly well for the Duke and Duchess, perhaps from a PR perspective, is what their spokesperson described as a near-catastrophic car chase. But it didn't turn out to be that, according to NYPD officials, New York Police Department officials, did it?
No, and there does seem to be lots of speculation about various claims which are made in the book. And bear in mind, as you said, we haven't heard from the royal family on this either. So we are very much hearing one side of the story. I can imagine, though, for Harry, anything related to car chases would be extremely traumatic for him. If we put ourselves in his shoes, if we can, I can totally appreciate that. But as you said, when people come back and say, hold on a second, this isn't all quite making sense, then, how does that look from Harry's perspective when he keeps on telling these stories and perhaps aren't all quite adding up?
No, and I suppose you look at the US, perhaps social media, and just the ridicule they had from Family Guy and South Park, those 2 sitcoms, which have taken the mick out of them a little bit, haven't they? So it's not looking great for 2024. What
and
are their
also
prospects?
In terms of their brand, are they trying to be a very serious brand, working with charities, really trying to sort of take the royals front in terms of getting exposure on these really important issues, but then having yourself thrown into sitcoms in the US? Because, of course, they can do that now because they're not working senior members of the royal family and they do need to become financially independent. And with that will come opinion, and unfortunately it won't always be positive.